Chapter 1 If you want to live a good life, a little green on everyone's head. You are listening at FameTV.info. Chapter 1 If you want to live a good life, a little green on everyone/s head, pain. A piercing pain came from Lu Chen/s mind. He panted heavily, raised his hands, and covered his head tightly. The vision slowly began to become blurred, and even ghost images appeared. Bean-sized beads of sweat slowly dripped from his forehead. Dripped onto the grad school entrance exam paper in his hand. Lu Chen/s strangeness was quickly noticed by the invigilator in the examination room. The invigilator hurriedly came to Lu Chen/s side, lowered his head and asked softly. "Classmate, is there anything wrong with you?" Lu Chen released his hands covering his head and raised his head slightly. He opened his mouth to speak. However, the severe pain has made him speechless. He could only raise his hand tremblingly and point it to his head. Headache. Having a splitting headache. That feeling is as if countless little bugs are constantly eating away at the brain tissue. Lu Chen/s complexion became paler, and his forehead was covered in sweat. Suddenly, he felt dark in front of him, and then passed out. The invigilator saw that this was not good, and immediately yelled at the other teacher. "Mr. Lee, this classmate/s situation is not right. I/am looking at him, hurry up and inform the examiner. Contact the accompanying medical staff." In the examination room, other candidates also noticed Lu Chen/s strangeness. However, due to the tight exam time, everyone just glanced at Lu Chen slightly, then lowered their heads and continued to work on the questions. At this time, Lu Chen/s brain was in a state of chaos, completely unaware of the outside world. In medical terms, he is equivalent to a state of light coma. Fortunately, such a large-scale examination of a national nature usually has accompanying medical staff. The doctor quickly transferred Lu Chen to the school/s infirmary. Blood pressure, blood oxygen saturation, body temperature, pulse, all normal. The ECG is normal. The doctor conducted a simple physical examination and treatment on Lu Chen, and found that his vital signs were normal. This is a little weird. Actually, Lu Chen had a strange disease since he was a child. That is, when he takes the test, when he is nervous, he will have headache symptoms and even coma. Whenever he lifts the pen, the dopamine in his body will be secreted involuntarily. I had a headache during the senior high school entrance examination. I had a headache during the college entrance examination. Now the postgraduate exam, the headache is attacking again. Lu Chen had a CT, MRI, and even angiography of the brain, and the results showed that everything was normal. Since the onset of the disease, the cause of the headache has never been found. Every time a headache occurs, after tens of minutes, the pain will ease on its own. Slowly, Lu Chen woke up from the light coma state. He opened his eyes slowly, and the white ceiling came into view. "Wake up." He/s awake. "Student Lu Chen, how are you feeling?" the invigilator asked quickly. Lu Chen looked at the invigilator. Just as he was about to speak, he noticed something was wrong. Why is there a faint green on the invigilator/s head? That green looks extremely unreal. But as the invigilator/s head moved, so did the green. "Are your eyes dazzled?" Lu Chen quickly closed his eyes, and after about 10 seconds, he opened his eyes again. That smear of green still exists, as if rooted in the head of the invigilator. "Is your visual system damaged?" But when Lu Chen looked at the ceiling and the windowsill, there was nothing abnormal in everything in his sight. Everyone in the infirmary saw Lu Chen/s confused face, and thought he was the aftermath of a coma. "Student Lu Chen, what/s wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" The accompanying doctor stepped forward and asked. Following the voice, Lu Chen looked at the doctor. This time it was actually yellow. This doctor has no green on his head, but a yellow. What the is going on here? Lu Chen turned his head and hurriedly looked at the others in the infirmary. A young nurse in the infirmary also had a touch of green on her head. A middle-aged man wearing a badge, he should be the examiner for this exam. The color on his head is the same as that of the doctor, it is yellow. What do these colors represent? At the same time, Lu Chen vaguely felt that a faint light curtain appeared in front of his eyes. A line of text is displayed on the top of the light curtain, and the system completion is 0%. This faint light curtain will appear or disappear with Lu Chen\S consciousness. As a medical student who has been on various novel websites for a long time, Lu Chen realized that this is no longer a phenomenon that can be explained by scientific common sense. Could it be that he has become the chosen person, and the system is close by? Since then, the road to the master of Chinese medicine has been opened. Calm down. Calm down first. Lu Chen thought to himself. So far, he still doesn't understand, what does green and yellow represent. The light curtain doesn't have any other hints except that line of small characters. This is very different from those invincible systems in the novel. This system with a little color is like a pool of stagnant water, and there is no system prompt. In the infirmary at this time, the invigilator Su Li was very anxious. She looked at Lu Chen, who was a little dumbfounded and didn't speak for a long time, and thought, this child shouldn't be stupid, right? What a pity for such a good boy. He looks white and clean, a little handsome, and his profession is a doctor, and he will definitely be a sweet pastry in the future. Teacher, I am fine. At this time, Lu Chen finally recovered from a series of accidents. Just that his face was extremely pale at this time, and he looked very weak. Classmate, do you want to go to the hospital for a more careful examination? The accompanying doctor performed a simple physical examination on Lu Chen again and confirmed that Lu Chen was in good health. Thank you, doctor. Lu Chen sighed slightly, no need. This headache has tormented him for more than 20 years. Comes fast and goes fast. It doesn't make much sense to go to the hospital for an examination now. Teacher, I want to go back to take the exam. Lu Chen struggled to stand up. But at this moment, the ding-dong bell suddenly rang. Lu Chen was about to stand up for a while, he swallowed and turned to look at Su Li who was beside him. Teacher, shouldn't this be the bell for the end of the exam? Yeah. Su Li nodded helplessly. Lu Chen. He still has 20 multiple-choice questions left to do. These 20 questions account for 40 points. Lu Chen originally wanted to be the Kyoto University School of Medicine, which is the #1 medical school in China. According to his usual self-assessment results, he is 80% sure to pass the preliminary test. But now, I just lost 40 points. Lu Chen has almost lost the possibility of being admitted to Kyoto University School of Medicine. Student Lu Chen, you don't have to be too sad. Su Li comforted, this postgraduate exam can be continued next year, but the body is the capital of the revolution. Thank you, teacher, I understand. Lu Chen forced a smile. For others, there may be many opportunities. But for Lu Chen, he was not allowed to have a headache in the next exam. It may not be so meaningful to take the exam for another year. And this color system doesn't seem to be anything special at the moment. Walking out of the infirmary, Lu Chen immediately got his mobile phone from the storage room. Turned on the front camera of his phone, and he could see the color on his head clearly. Green. Could it be that, in order to live a good life, everyone needs a little green on their heads? Lu Chen began to observe the colors on everyone's heads around him. Green, green, yellow, green, yellow, green, green, yellow, green. Lu Chen made an estimate in his heart. Among the people he saw, 2/3 had green heads, and the remaining third had yellow heads. The probability of the appearance of green and yellow is completely random, and there is no rule at all. But he noticed that most of the people with yellow heads were middle-aged and elderly. For the younger test takers, most of them have green color on their heads, and very few are yellow. Does this color represent everyone/s age? Green represents youth and yellow represents middle age. End of this chapter. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.